Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have quite a long one for you guys, 1 hour. That's because this was our first 4-round locals at AI Fest, so I figured it would be just wrong not to post this. Despite what I will apologize as a major screw up on my side here in game 1. So I'm on the left here piloting my Magna X Armour Rush, and on the right is my buddy Gerard playing Blue Hybrid. The mess up only occurred in this match because it's the only one where it actually mattered with source stripping. Magna X has a really awesome ability that can only be used if you have an Armor Digimon or X Anti-Body, the option card underneath it. In this build I didn't run it, and he source stripped a lot of my armors, and I just kept using the effect as if I could. So I'll point out where this happens, but I cheated out Gerard hard here. So Gerard will be starting us off, hatching, going into Strabi and dropping a Sora Joe. I'll be hatching into a Jamon. Great for Armor Rush because if your Digimon's level 4 or your armors are level 4, you get 1,000, so it's really good. Here I'm dropping a blue memory boost and picking up an armor to use for a following turn, and passing it over to Gerard. He's going to promote going into a Leomon. I really want this for my Gabu deck. Hits into a Ragemon, dying, gaining his 2 memory and drawing his card. Getting himself a few more options here and there, and dropping down a Matt, an interesting tech choice. There I'm going to Digivolve into the Vmon like I didn't do last turn. I'm just confirming what Matt and Sora Joe does, just so I know for future turns. Sora Joe is really good because if you have a Digimon with no sources, it gives you 2 extra memory, which is great. So I'm Digivolving into the Ragemon so that I can promote next turn, getting the 2 memory from Davis and Ken, because you get 1 memory if you have a blue, 1 if you have green. Ragemon fills both. He's going to drop his own Davis here and grab a Strabi for future turns. So I promote, get my 2 memory, going all the way up to 3. I've even got a blue memory in the back, ready to use when I need it. I'm weighing up options here. I'm just going for a Fire Rocket, which gives my Armor Digimon security +1. I can use it if I have an armor, ignoring colors. So I go for the swing, and I do manage to get all the way down to the second. I was fully aware for this Vmon to die, but I luckily made it out. Going into a Magnamon, so it now has blocker, and I believe just to about 2k, because it gets 2k for every armor in the trash, and it keeps that until the end of your opponent's next turn, and it unsuspends on Digivolve to stay as a blocker. He's going to strip me with Howling, swing with Strabi, play his other Strabi, go for a search, and hit into a Kuma here. Pretty good choice for follow-up turns. I'm going to go my turn. I'm going to hatch Digivolve, get only 1 for the Magna, well, from the Davis Ken, because I have a blue Magna on field. Way up options here. I'm going to Digivolve into a Magna in the back, Hammer Spark myself up to 2, and I'm going to bounce the Strabi back to his hand just to make sure he has less options to play with on his turn. He's going to gain memory because of the Sora Joe's effect and start off his turn here, considering whether he wants to promote or not. He just promotes the Tamer going to the Kuma, since he already has a memory Tamer. He doesn't need the Mat anymore to fulfill that role. Going to go into a Beowulf, probably hoping to bounce. Plays the Howling so he can get the Kuma in play, going for a search here. Gets into a lot of good options here. Takes the Sora Joe and the Kuma, putting that Magnet to the bottom, so that's one less to worry about, I guess. Weighing up his options here, going for the swing, because I guess why not, but I remember my Magna's no longer stunned, so I block so he can bounce with his Bayo. Hits into the next security, which looks like to be a Vmon. Nothing too scary. He played the Boku, so he can't do anything else, so he just does a Sora Joe for turn. I got a 4 thanks to my Davis and Ken. Weighing up options here, I just swing straight with the Magna, hitting into a Kori, so I'm pretty good on that front. Kind of weighing up options here. I think I go for the Ice Wall, yep, to last some turns, and bounce the Beowulf so you can get a few less bounces off. Want to keep this Magna out as long as possible. He promotes the Strabi. He's got his Boku, so he can do some hybrid swings now for game, and I think that's probably what he does. Goes into the V with the Strabi. Strabi survives because it's 3k on a vanilla, basically, level 3, so there he is. And he goes for the Howling, stripping to stun. Don't know why he did that, but alright. Next goes into the V. Probably go into an armor here. Yep, we're going to the Flamedramon. The writing's pretty much on the wall next turn. He's got everything he needs. He just needs to stun the Magna, which in Blue Hybrid, not a very difficult thing to do since all your Digimon pretty much stun. I'm here considering the swing. Also looking at the writing, I think, on the wall. I Digivolve, I pop the Memory Boost, go to 2, drop down the V, Digivolve again, hopefully just get more blockers on board. But stun is a hell of a thing because it does not care. So I guess the Sora Joe proc stands. He pretty much just needs to swing here to clean me out. Promotes the Kuma just for the extra bit of like insult to injury. Goes with the Kori to stun the Magna. Goes into a Kuma, into a Kori and stuns. And I'm just telling him here that he could have Digivolved on there. Swings into a Davis, but I'm not even going to do the search because the writing's on the wall. So we're going to scoop it up, and here we're going to go to game 2, where I absolutely cheated out Herod from a win from this point on. I didn't see a Magna X that entire game 1, but I see them games 2 and 3, and I apologize so much, Herod. I don't know why I didn't read this. It's probably because it doesn't come up that often, because it literally only comes up in this matchup against Hybrid. I understand that's not an excuse, and I will be playing it again this weekend to hopefully redeem myself. But unfortunate as it is, this is how the game kind of pans out. There are a few times where I use it legally, so that's fine, but I did review the footage before doing the video, and I 100% cheat out so many good swings and kill turns just because of it. So I got a good turn 1 here, going to V, Memory Boost, getting the Magna. He goes into Strabi, getting 2 hits off that. Goes with his Davis, setting his memory team up nicely, getting a Kori and bottoming the rest. I promote here, looking probably at an armor, which one I would like to go for. I do go for the heavy swinger because this is a 9k, because Flamejamon gets 3k on my turn, and the Xiaomon all turns because it's a level 4, gives it an additional. So that's a nice 9k swing into the Kori, helping it survive there. Ironic because you actually technically want to lose security matches so you can Digivolve into Magna, but yeah. So I go for the Memory Boost so I can play a V, get the search here. I can only take the Magna because Magna X is not a free, so you can't get it with any of your V cards. So the only way you fetch that normally is by hard drawing it, or Memory Boosts, or my own Davis, which is a new addition to the deck that I'm very happy with. So I'm going to Golden Armor here into the Magna X, and this is the start of Herod learning how Magna X works. This is a really BS card in my opinion, depending on the matchup. Here it should have been a lot easier for Herod than I made it for him. Magna's effect is if you have an armor or an X antibody underneath it, it can redirect a Digimon's attack. So this isn't blocker, so you do not need to suspend the Digimon for it. You simply declare that you wish to redirect. And it's also not once per turn, which is not very fair in my opinion, but alright. So here he learns it the hard way. He does use the Leo, so he does get bonuses from it. Digivolving into a new Leo for follow-up turns. I'm going to hatch, go into Raidra, tapping the Strabi, clearing the Strabi just so that I can get, and forgetting that Leomon is also a blocker with a Tamer on board. So he gets that memory, stealing it from me, going with his Davis into his 3. Oh, so good. It's like hitting someone with an Izzy on 0 in black and passing the turn going up to 3. So he hatches Digivolve Strabi, plays a Koji here, obviously looking for hybrid plays in the follow-up turns. Considering a hard play, I'm assuming Boku. No, Strabi going for another search here, can only grab 1, grabs the Kuma, bottoms the Bayo, passes it back, I unsuspend. I'm a little choked here on 3s apparently, because I can't Digivolve. Swing, die, purge, and swing again, hitting it into a Sora Joe. Doing the Magna and just swinging greedily, but because I had another Magna, I really didn't mind. I died to a Susanoo, but it's okay. I cleaned up security quite nicely. I think it's from here that it got dicey because he's going to swing and strip. So here it's still legal for now because it still has an armor underneath it. But he's going to go for the swing. I allow that to go through because I'm thinking it's fine. I've got monsters on board. I've got time. I don't need to block with Magna. He's going to Innocence Blizzard, and here's where it starts. So I say it's blocker. I even read it. This is the thing. I even reread the card, and I still just ignore that line of text. I guess my brain just wasn't functioning. Game 1. And I kept blocking, and he really should have gotten at least 2 more swings in here, so my security should be down to 2 right now. I Ice Wall for some extra time, and I Davis Ken. I really didn't need to do this because I do have a lot of option cards in my hand, so I could have pushed for maybe even a bounce instead, so that I could have forced out some time instead of ice walling and save the ice wall for a future turn. But again, this is all speculation. We don't know how this game would have turned out had I actually allowed Herod, because even now he's reluctant to swing or even Digivolve swing because everything is lower than the Magna. So he goes for it. Instead goes into the Magna Guru, because with this he attaches a Magna Guru, and on swing Magna Guru and on Digivolve, Magna Gurumon can once per turn strip a source to bounce something of the same level lower. So he bounces my Magna. I'm like, alright, rip big Sash. So I should be down to 1 security here and then 2 swings for game, or even hybrid for game. Well then again, actually he's on 1 memory. Oh wait, Boku gives him 2 back if he Digivolves on a Tamer. So no, it really should have been game here. So already here I should have lost, but I didn't, because I am a dumbass and I don't read my cards. So he does it, passes back. I do my Vmon. I can Digivolve this Magna, but I use the Elementals to make it cheaper, because otherwise it would be a 4 to Digivolve onto a Magnamon. So Magna X can only Digivolve onto Magna for an increased cost, can't Digivolve onto any armor. But with Golden Armor Digimentals, the option card, it lets you Digivolve any armor into Magnamon X for the Digivolution cost of 3. So it's pretty cheap that way, hence why you play the card. Here, everything's still legal. He swings and strips. I shouldn't be able to declare the effect here. And he should have, again, another turn. He should have cleaned it out right now, but doesn't. Because he thinks, and I think that the blocker effect is active. And I'm even explaining how the blocker works, that I don't even need to tap, it's not once per turn. And he's complaining that it's not once per turn, but that wasn't the critical thing here. The critical thing was the restriction of the card, because of course a good effect has a restriction. Why I thought it didn't is beyond me, and trust me, I have scolded myself every single time I rewatch this playthrough, because it's really unfair to Herod, because he should have gone through round 1 with ease, and I made his life difficult because he now needed to play through 3 more rounds and come around. I think he came around 5th or something, because he did lose later on, but that is still beside the point. He should have been up after this game, and I made it a dragged out game 1 because I cheated. I'm not gonna mince words, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I did this incorrectly, and that was my fault. So I don't know exactly what it is here I'm contemplating. I think because the Magnamon's stun, I don't swing with it, so I swing with the Raidra. I think I was hoping it would die, because I think I had like a Magna or something in hand. So I'm going to go Davis Can Pass. He's going to get all the procs from his Sorojo, because I have a thing without sources, and he's got 2 Sorojos, so that's just amazing value there. Again, he has full ability to board wipe and kill me now, but because I misread and misplayed the Magna X, he really should have won this. Trust me, it kills me to say that continuously, but the thing is, I don't want to hide anything on this channel. I do want to show the mistakes, the errors. I feel it's important that people can learn from it. I have updated the deck list, which I will show on the channel at a later stage, because I did want to fix it and correct it, and there were cards I wanted to take out after playing this tournament. I was like, yeah, these cards are cool, but they weren't as much value as I hoped they were. So I have switched things out for the X antibody, so now the deck is quote-unquote legal for this matchup, but here it was not. Here, he's just contemplating live spinning so long thinking about it, because I keep misinforming him that Magnamon can still block, and the thing is, neither of us picked up the card to keep reading it. I don't know why we didn't. We are not bad players, we should have remembered this. We've played Yu-Gi-Oh!, we've played Magic, we should know to pick up cards and read them, but is what it is. So he's going into the Leo, he's going for the swing. I believe I redirect, yeah, I give him the 2 memory of the draw 1, despite the fact that that shouldn't have even happened to begin with. Oh, right, here he made a mistake by digivolving a Boku into the Leo by accident. So that was also funny, so misplays all around. And here we go into game 3, which, again, was not any better. So, it was funny though. So, I did, again, want to still post this, not just for educational and just for the sake of transparency, but also just because this 3rd game, had I functioned my deck correctly, This last match is absolutely hilarious. I'm not going to spoil anything, but my word, did we have a laugh at the end of this. So Kharad's going to start us off hatching, going into Strabi, playing Boku, getting a good top, getting a Koji and a Strabi for later. Passing it back, I hatch, go into the starter deck V, going into the Magna, and dropping Davis Ken. We both had pretty cracked opening hands, and looks like we started in the most optimal ways possible. He's going to promote here, dropping the Sora Joe so he can set up for future turns. Swing with Strabi just for an early bit of chip damage, hitting into a V, but he is 2k. The vanilla is 3k, so yeah. I promote, get one for Davis Ken, Digivolve for 4 into Magna X, and I believe I swing here because I have less than 7 cards in hand, so I'll also get that draw from the effect of the Vmon. So draw for Vmon, swing, I hit into a Strabi, so nothing really to fear. I just drop a V just so I can Digivolve it next turn, giving him the extra memory. Probably a bad idea, but I figured get bodies on board as fast as possible. It is hybrid, it is fast, so I'd rather do that than give him a time. So he's going to Kuma, he's going to strip the Zhao. So don't really need the Zhao anymore, because once you're in Magna X, you're not level 4, so it doesn't matter. Swings with Boku, taps Sorijo to strip one more, Korikaku stunning the V, so the Magna X is still correctly online, goes into the Bayo, I believe then drops a Strabi for a search, gets a, considering the Strabi, but goes for the Kuma, one Innocence Blizzard as well, now out of the stack, which is great. Digivolves into Kuma, strips, and passes. So I unsuspend, hatch. Now Magna X is shut off, and it should be shut off. I just passed the turn by bouncing, but again, I feel so confident in the safety of my Magna X that doesn't actually work. So he double Hammer Sparks up here, going for a big play. He drops down, I think a Korikaku here, looking to stun. No, goes into the Beowulf, looking to bounce the V to my hand, I believe. Oh no, goes into the Magna, bouncing by Digivolve. Passing the turn over, I Digivolve into the jamming V in the back, and I unsuspend the Magna X, which is back on, which is still stunned currently due to the Korikaku. Wasn't it? Oh, that might be another misplay on my part, or both our parts, because he should remember his stance as well as a blue hybrid player. But again, I'm not one to judge currently because I have the biggest misplays of both of us. And now he goes here, he swings with the Magna, I use the redirect illegally and protect. He unsuspends, swings again, swings with the Strabi, and then plays another Strabi, fetching a Strabi. That's a lot of Strabis. Passing the turn with a Koji, I promote, go up to a nice cool 7 thanks to the double Davis Kens and my standard Davis. I swing, die, strip, and I think I go for a Magna here. No, I go into another Raidra. Do I have the... I do have the Golden Armor Digimentals to Digivolve into the Magna X, and that is online because it does have an armor underneath it. But for how long, Robbie? It is Soul Strip. Soulstrip.deck. That's not going to stay there forever. So here I'm contemplating what to do next because I'm thinking about the card on field. I don't want to commit to anything giving too much memory, so I let him unsuspend. All of these blocks here, I believe, are legal unless he howling before swinging. He swung into. Don't know why he died there. That actually was a mistake because he was not supposed to die there. But yeah, I purged. So Magna's X's other effect, which I may have neglected to mention, is if it would be deleted, you can trash, send the top card, which would be itself, to the security stack to protect it. So he gets rid of it quite swiftly. He then goes for all his swings, and this is the hilarious part. He drops Sayako, holding me out. I'm like, okay, cool. I just need to hopefully blast through the rest of that security. So I go, hopefully a cheeky, I do get it with the Fire Rocket, luckily. Dropping the V, checking for anything. I'm looking for blockers and Magna X's because I want to hold out on his next turn. Because if I could just hold out, I can win. I get the David, I get a Magna. And I believe I do go into the Magnus here. I think I'm reading Sayako here, wondering about the restriction on reduced costs. And remember that armor digivolving is setting, not reducing. So I go here, I go into the blocker. He does go for the Magna, and this is why this is hilarious. So, perfect move by Gerard. Now he clears the Magna, swings in, unsuspends, swings again for game. The only problem with this thing is I have Mega Death as the last security option, and Gerard burns all his hybrids for that Magna. And here you can see me freaking out because he didn't hold at least one, because I believe he had a Strabby in hand he could have held. So again, this came to a draw with a 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw. So this should have been a 2-0 by Gerard, but it ended up this way. So what's done is done, and we're going to move along here to games 2, 3, and 4. Again, Gerard, if you watch this, I apologize, man. It's my bad. I will bring a correct list next weekend. We can play it out again. So next up, my match is against a new player, a friend of ours taking a break from Yu-Gi-Oh! To try out Digimon. Jordan over here bought the Jesmon structure decks and is trying it out with 1 or 2 upgrades that he got from some of our bulks. I gave him a lot of good Huckmon pieces. Unfortunately, I only had 4 of the Search Huckmons, which are in my Jesmon deck, so I couldn't give him those, but I did give him a few good pieces. So here we're going to set up, and I do believe I'm going first. A nice, good handshake / fist bump for the start, and I get a good opening of V into Davis Ken. He hatches into the starter deck Guri, and then goes from Master to Disciple, fetching himself a Savior Huck and trashing the rest. Really good option card. Plays down a Systemon Blanc, so you can get the trash 1, draw 2, just so you can get some filtering going. I'm going to promote, get 1 of Davis Ken, go into the Flamedramon, and swing for 9. I'm just letting him know all the effects. Since he is new, I do want to be a bit more methodical with him. So I head into a Huckmon, so I'm perfectly fine, dropping a V, searching, getting another V. It's good for future turns, especially next turn for Digimon. He goes into the Solomon from the structure deck, takes his draw, and hopefully here he can start promoting. The only issue with structure decks is they're great out of the box. Digimon has great structure decks, don't get me wrong. But if you're playing against other like fully built decks that have booster box support and everything, they just don't compare. But that's like that's true for any card game, I guess. But Digimon does have the luxury of its structure decks are all great. If you buy 2 of any structure deck, you have a decent deck going. So he swings here with the Systemon, unfortunately dying to what I presume to have been an armor. The replay went a bit too fast for my eyes to catch while I was distracted there. Oh, it was a Magnamon. Definitely dying to that, 7k. He's going to go Master Disciple, just reduce the cost here to 2, hopefully choking me out. Getting 1 off the Davis Ken is at least good, because I can armor digivolve the V then, for a play cost of 2. So I swing in for the 9, getting early damage. Gets a Master Disciple, just confirming here that it does play these are new cards, so I do want to be careful here, just so that he also learns. So he does go for it, and he gets the Bow Huckmon, trashing a Huck and an option card. I'm here, I think, contemplating evoing into an armor, but first I'm going to dig a bit more with an E. I do go into the Magna for 1, choking him out and just telling him how Magna works. He promotes the Savior Huckmon, just asking about everything on board. I'm explaining how much DP Magnamon gets due to all the armors currently in the trash. I believe there are 2, so he should have an extra 4k on him, being an 11k blocker. He's going to pop the Master Disciple and go into the Blitz. He's going to go at it. I'm only 11, so I don't know if I do block this, so I'm going to see how he plays through all his effects. I also did need to explain to him, it's not like you don't have to declare the order you're doing everything in, as long as you don't do things multiple times by accident and you keep track of all your stuff. You can keep proc things in any order you want, hopefully procking other things in the along the way if you need effects to go off. So here he's just getting all the effects going off, giving the Jesmon security and everything. It looks like I do decide to block with the Magna armor purging to protect the V underneath, and just explaining how the armor purging works and why the level 3 is still on board. The Blitz Jesmon is absolutely fantastic. This Jesmon deck is so good straight out of the box, it's actually criminal. And it is the winner of this rotation of structure decks because unlike Ragnar, it actually got support. Looks like I'm going for the Fire Rocket, going for that extra bit of damage, getting it. I know Jesmon doesn't have a lot of big things aside from Jesmon, so I felt confident going for that extra damage. Go with the V, swing with the V, Rookie Rush for game. You'll love to see it. Jordan must not have been doing too bad because he did win his first round in order to be facing me, who illegally got a draw on his first game, but beside the point. So Jordan actually doing pretty well with the structure. I can't remember who his first round was, but hopefully it must have been a pretty decent matchup with Jesmon. He might have just blitzkrieged and just boosted damage out. So here I believe Jordan's going to elect to go first, yes. Goes with his Guri, goes Master Disciple, gets only a Bow Hut, loses 2 option cards, but it's perfectly fine. Just doesn't really rely on its option cards, mostly on System 1. I got a good turn 1 here, getting a Digivolve and a Search, getting, I guess, Flamedramon. If my options are Flamedramon, I guess it's Flamedramon. He goes here with the System 1. This is a really good addition to the System 1 lineup. Blanc with that trash draw 2 is so good. Teaching him about memory tamers here and not being able to choke. Go for the memory boost. Get into a nice Magnamon there. Really good. And then choking him out at about 1. I know his deck doesn't have any memory tamers, so this choking is very cheeky, but hey, they gotta learn one way or another. And choking is a big part of this game. If your opponent doesn't have a memory tamer, why give them more than they need? So choke it out. Swings with the system for some chip damage, hitting into a Magna X and dying. Hard playing the bow, telegraphing that he really is struggling on his line here, which does give me an opening. So I swing here with the Flame, hitting into a low-level Digimon and bouncing with Mega Death. Then taking it back because I realize I don't have a green in play. Now I have a green in place, which means Megadeth is viable now. So it's perfectly fine that way. I do pass him with 3, but I did feel I needed to rectify that mistake because I had played the card and I can make it a legal play, so let me commit to it, so I did. I would have choked him at 1 the original way, but it would have been illegal, so we didn't do it. He goes for a CL here, going for the Search. I'm not a fan of the CL, I will not lie. I prefer the Blanc and the CL from the booster set that lets you go into a Digivolution on play. So I will be taking this CL out of my deck once my my singles order comes through. Shoutouts to Mike from Durban. I'll be getting updates to this deck quick. He's going here, Digivolving, playing, but I'm looking at him and I'm like, I understand he's still going for it and I respect it, but he's not going to make it. With just a CL on board and 2 cards on my side, I just need 2 hits to win. So he goes here, I'm like, cool, sweet damage, you survive, great. And he plays the Blanc, gets the draw 2, but it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. I Digivolve and I don't waste time. I just go for it and call it a day. Good sport, Jordan, and I'm happy you're starting to play Digimon. I welcome you in. I understand it's just a break, so we'll go back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Eventually, but I'm happy to have a new player. Next up, we have our good old faithful Kanan. So Kanan is with that beautiful sleeves telegraphing. He is trying out his Crossheart deck pre-ban before it goes into effect, because he wanted to play his heart out at least once. So we're going up here. It looks like I believe I won the die roll there, so I'm probably going first. It's just look at the field centers being like, well, since you have both, might as well just use both. This deck is absolutely amazing. It's really actually unfair if it actually gets going, so I understand why it got its restrictions, but hey, at least Kanan gets to play it once. Looks like I was choked on level 3s there, so that Davis came in clutch there, getting me at least a V for the follow-up turn. Kanan here hatches his Pikmon and goes straight into a Sharpmon across 4. This is the current card about to be restricted in Crossheart that everyone's complaining about. It's a really good card. At the end of the battle, it can delete itself and unsuspend one of your Crossheart Tamers. The reason that's good is because of the save mechanic, which allows Digimon on deletion to put sources underneath Tamers. then the cross-hard tamers can tap themselves to use those cards under them to play another Digimon. So he can just play, if he has all the cross 4s in his hand, he can just play them all and just keep going, because they also reduce play cost if you put the correct things underneath. So if you have the correct 3-4 pieces for cross 4, it costs 0. How the hell is that? How is that not unfair? So it looks like I promote go up to ride Digimon Golden Armor into X and play a V. I'm feeling comfortable here because now that we've remembered how Magna X works, I'm not scared of this matchup, because the only hard counter to the deck was the one I faced and nicked out that win from. So, so here we are. He's reading Magna X again as well to make sure it works the way it works, and yep, unfair. So he's going to tap his tamer to play another cross 4 out. He's not swinging because he knows it does basically nothing. Yeah, he'll save his pieces, but what's the point if he loses his Digimon? So I hatch go into the V. I'm just sitting here contemplating because I've watched how cross-hot works, but I never delved really into it because I personally don't like the save mechanic. I think it's a weird mechanic. I don't quite enjoy it. For some Digimon it makes sense, others it doesn't. Oof. And then I'm flexing that old art Flame Dramon that I recently got off of a friend who opened a box but doesn't play armor, so good for me. So I hit one swing, get it survive, hit, get into a tamer, and I bounce to his hand his cross 4 because they only save if they're deleted, so that's fine. So he drops his tamer and plays the Darulamon, I believe its name, and it gives -2 security. So it's going to give it to the Magna X just so I can't get some aggressive swings going. And he's going to tap so he can swing into the Magna. On deletion, he's going to save his cards under his tamers. And swing again. Once again, saving under his tamers. He unfortunately doesn't have many copies of the tamers that let you play from under tamers. So he's kind of just like waiting until he draws into that, which I think slowed him down quite a bit. There's one of them, as well as the memory tamer, so I know I can't choke him anymore. So I promote the Vmon. Everything's looking good. I'm primed, I believe, for a Magna win. So swing, swing, swing with jamming. And oh, loses. I show him that I did have the Magna for the win. But hey, DP reduction is a hell of a thing against armor. So I just dropped the Davison Kin here for a future turn so I can get at least like 5 memory to play with. Kanan's looking at this and I think he's also seeing the same thing and I am. It's really not looking good, so maybe save time, go to game 2, because there's really nothing he can play right now that will stop me. He could maybe clear one of my Digimon, but not both. He's got DP reduction cards, but not a lot because Cross-Hard relies a lot on its Digimon, so it has not a lot of deck room. It's pretty tight on the list. Maybe the new restriction will make it a bit smoother, but yeah. So he's just going to hard play a Ballistamon, tapping his tamers to, I believe, reduce the cost a bit, so it doesn't hurt him as much. And he just scoops it up. Yep, sees the same thing as I do. Not a lot of wiggle room when you're relying too much on pieces that you're just not seeing. Another reason I'm not a big fan of Cross-Hard and Blue Flame, because you need those pieces, and if you just don't see them, it just doesn't function. So it feels a bit like, I know Digimon is a very RNG based game, but that's a little too RNG in my opinion. I wouldn't feel comfortable for that. Yeah, just a little bit of bounce back and forth. Kana, I think, was talking about how he's kind of hungry because he didn't have breakfast or something. Cool, so we're gonna just sit up here, and I believe Alex goes second? Yeah, because Cross-Hard just wants to hard play, and the more memory you give it, the better. So I give him as much as he wants. I go into a full-on Magna. I think I have a Magna X in hand, that's why I go straight away. He drops the Tamer, plays out the Starmon, doesn't get any effects. Ooh, there's the Magna X, beautiful. That should have been for 4, I believe. So I think this should have been at 1 already. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I played that incorrectly as well. But it's fine. All that would have been different is I would have dropped the V first, then gone into the Magna, which means I would have put him on 4. So let's see here, he plays the Sparrow, dropping it to choke me at 1, which means he could have been at 0 here. I hatch going into the Digimon, I just swing for some rookie damage, going into the Davis Ken and passing the turn over. He hatches, goes into the Sparrowmon. For those of you wondering how he's digivolving multicolored Digimon onto each other, the entire Crossheart line ignores color requirements as long as it has Crossheart in its traits. That's kind of how they have this like rainbow deck that kind of works with the series lore. He goes into a cross 4 and uses the Shoutmon and the Starmon on field, reducing the cost just a little bit. I promote the Vmon here because it is the jamming Vmon, so nothing to be feared with a jammer on field. I swing, hit into another tamer, which is really good for him, but at this point I'm just seeing pieces quite nicely. I hit into another tamer and he drops a Ballistamon with the effect. I go into the Magna blocker and I Mega Death the Crossfall back to his hand. Bouncing Crossheart Digimon and Blue Flame Digimon is the best because then they don't get to use the save effect, because save specifically only functions on deletion. There he swings with the Ballista. I remind him about Magna X's effect to redirect. So he saves the Ballista with its ability and then taps again and plays. Here I think I'm just telling him how it's kind of funny that how unfair Magna X is at times, because here he's got a whole board and Magna X just stops everything because it's a not once per turn block. Bandai, why is it not once per turn? I mean, I love it, but why? Like, I understand the Sword Strip is a real hard counter to the archetype now that I've read the card correctly, but everything else just kind of suffers unless they're level 6 or higher. It's kind of unfair. So here I go into a V, into a Raidramon. I think I'm just weighing up my options here. I am on 2, which isn't much. I do get the draw from the Vmon ESS, swinging with the Magna X. I swing with the Magna here, he blocks with the Ballista and saves, and then I go into a V, fetching a Flamedramon for the following turns. Once again, we've gotten to a point where we're both looking at the board, and if he doesn't have the out, exactly the out to Magna X, he can't do anything. Because even cross 4, while unfair because it can keep swinging, is only 8k. It doesn't do anything. Here he's just showing me how the cost reduction works and how hectic it can get when you have all the tamers in play. But I'm just kind of like looking and I'm like, you know what, redirects. He'll swing again, I'll be like, cool, redirects. I don't know what the thought process was on the second one. I'm even like saying like, why did you swing with the second one when you knew the result would be the same? But hey, who am I to judge plays when clearly I misplay? So here I think he goes into the cross 4. I don't know what the point is, because if he goes for the swing, I just redirect. It gets deleted. He saves the Digimon, but it doesn't do anything at the end of the day, because Magna X, just way too good. Unfairly way too good. Here he goes for the other option card that's also been restricted, and he pops the Magna, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Unless you can get rid of the Magna X, it doesn't matter. So again, just re-reviewing, I'm just kind of pointing it out to Kanan that it's cool and all, but Magna X is just going to stop everything. And unfortunately for Kanan, sorry Kanan, no deck profile for you this week. We're taking it. And now it's time for the second unfortunate event of this tournament. Surprise! It is not me in the finals. Instead, we have so we have the third and fourth of the top 4. We have to my left we have Duncan playing D Reaper, and to my right we have Aaron, another new player. Well, these are both new players playing his Jessmon structure deck as well. Now, the reason I'm not here is because, unfortunately, my opponent had to drop in the finals because he had a prior engagement. So, unfortunately, it's not me, so I took the dub. Technically, it's coming 3-1-0 in this tournament. 3 wins, 1 draw, 0 losses. Again, that draw really should have been a loss, so it should have been 3-0-1, but it is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So here instead you've got basically second, third, and fourth place match kind of going out over here, and it's a pretty interesting matchup because I hadn't reviewed this footage at all before this this recording, just so I could kind of get like a live view of how these two played. Because they're both new to the tournament, new to the shop, new to the game. It's interesting to just see how their minds work and how they play it out. It looks like they've both had a pretty decent start. Duncan on the left setting up Mother D Reaper pretty quickly, got 2 searches over 2 turns. He's got a Memory Tamer set and he's looking good. Aaron also looking great, setting up a Bao Huck, got a Systemon on board, and Master from Master to Disciples, getting him some good searches. I don't know how comfortable I am with the swing he made, because D Reaper's one weakness is blitzing, which Jesmon does very well, provided it gets all its pieces. So he risked losing his pieces there. So I don't know if that was the correct move, but I guess he's just looking to damage them as much as possible. Because I know Aaron's seen Kanan's D Reapers before, so he knows how deadly they are, so I think he's just prepping for that. So here Duncan's getting a few swings. He got his Jerry searchers, played down his searcher, got his draws off, and he's just playing D Reaper normally, setting up slowly but surely. Aaron here got a Izzy off the hit from Duncan, so he's got a Memory Tamer now, so no longer choking, goes into a Huck after hatching, goes into a Bao Huck, so he's setting up a line there, so now he can freely swing with that Huckmon. I would have no qualms with that. Swings with Sister, hits a Searcher, swings with Bao, hits a Tactical Retreat, recovering 1, and then Kari tapping to gain an extra memory. So Duncan masterfully using his yellow option cards within his D Reaper deck and actually getting a lot of good plays off. Looks like Aaron's going up into a Savior for full cost, not choosing to reduce it, probably looking to reduce in a later turn. Duncan unsuspending here and then just going straight for the Jerry search. Getting a searcher. This deck just doesn't hit. Like, I know Magna X is unfair, but come on, D Reaper is just BS to a new degree. Looks like he is... What happened there? How did he unsuspend the Savior? It might have been a mistake on Aaron's part, but it doesn't seem like it's making much of a difference. Duncan seems to just be doing a setup. Currently got 5 searches, 6 searches, 5 under Mother, 1 in play. Going for a swing into that Systemon, getting rid of the blocker / decoy. I can't remember which one's which. I think CL's the blocker, if I'm not mistaken. Not that it was a threat, because it was suspended. Aaron rereading Mother D Reaper and just absorbing all the BS that is its effects. Oh, Duncan going in with another Jerry. Oh, wow. And that makes 6. Oof, we are so close to that Reaper finish. It's actually kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. So Aaron has a little bit of time, but not a lot going for him. Duncan is at 3 security, so he could clean this out, but we'll have to see. He really needs to find those pieces ASAP and get everything going. It looks like he might have it, going Master Disciple to reduce his next evolution cost. He's tagged 1 out, and it is the Jesmon. He doesn't need to do the Blitz because it is still his turn, thanks to reducing play cost. And looks like he's just going to go for all his effects. I believe he's got everything, so starts with the CL, doing a search, hitting absolutely nothing, pain. Going for the Savior, playing the CL, discarding 1, drawing 2. Getting the security and the plus to his DP, so this should be 15, then plus his sources, probably around 16, 17. Hits into 2 low levels, so all good. Bao Huck hits into a Reaper, so unfortunate, because those Systemons were played this turn, he can't exactly go with them. So he's just going to Master Disciple, check for another search, hits every target he could ever want, so it's his choice. Grabs the Ganku from the structure deck, and reboots the Jesmon. Oh, that's right, actually the CL gives reboot. What am I thinking? Alright, so is it here? Okay, looks like Jerry going for another search. So he's got 2, 4, 6, 8 underneath the Mother D Reaper. So if he just drops the Reaper now, he should be good. No, he's going for a Gatekeeper instead to recover and proc in that security -2. Interesting. Slaps under the Searcher. And now it chooses to Reaper. Interesting strategy. I guess just in case something happens to the Reaper, he put up the gate so that he can stall his next turn and not die. Pretty smart move going in. But this D-Reaper just being D-Reaper, unsuspend, swing, unsuspend, swing, and unsuspend, swing. This deck is just way too consistently unfair. It's not even funny. Now can none stop playing it, and now someone else is playing it. Good lord, are we never going to be rid of this deck? But yeah, Duncan takes game 1, and unfortunately Aaron did not find his pieces fast enough. The only way to beat D-Reaper is to find those pieces. So if Aaron can just find the pieces, he should be fine. But hopefully he can find them now in this match. In this round, because the only way he can get a game 3 is hopefully by finding it, because D-Reaper is just way too fast, way too good if you let them go too long, especially with the gatekeepers, because he could just start shutting off his field. Alright, setting up here, I believe Aaron selected to go first. Yes, alright, hatching a Guri, going into a Candle, dropping the Solomon, perfect. Solomon and Chikurimon from the 2 new structure decks have the same ability as the BT8 Psychmon, not allowing players to reduce the play cost of cards, so kind of getting him to have to play his searches for full cost. Here I think they're just trying to figure out if Duncan doesn't want to play anything other than a searcher, what happens. So I think they even called me over at this point to ask about if they pass the turn, what happens to memory. Goes into a bow, swings, hits into a gate, doesn't die. I think here is where he learns how that works. So yeah, doesn't die because Gatekeeper on check stops the battle, doesn't even proceed to battle itself, and then just recovers 1. So your Digimon does survive, thankfully, and that Gatekeeper really isn't doing anything right now, so it's not a big deal. Goes for the Izzy. I know he's not going to get it because it's pretty much a pure Jessmon. He just put into Izzy, so he had a Memory Tamer. But he does at least get to stack his deck for when he drops down like a CL or something. So he's going to suck up that Searcher and probably play down another. Too bad he can't reduce the cost due to the Solomon. So there you can see Duncan immediately knows, Aaron reminding him, but he pretty much paid the cost immediately, knowing what was happening. He's going to swing into his bow, smart move, don't let him get to that Jessmon at any point. And looks like we're going to go for a bubble just to slap the Search underneath. Actually, Guri going into a Huckmon. Aaron's going to swing Digivolving into Meramon over his oh, he had another Solar in hand. Okay, that makes sense now. Also choking him at 1. Pretty good move on Aaron's part. He's kept the choking. He not only choked, sorry, he's also kept his main strategy of having the no cost reduction effect in play. So he's just going to attach and then swing. Aaron's going to let that through because obviously he just might as well. And then Duncan's just going to hard play one of his big D-Reapers. Aaron's going to promote here. He needs to keep this Huckmon as safe as possible though, so I don't know if the promotion was a good idea. He's going to drop the CL to go for the search. He does see a few good cards. He's going to grab Master Disciple because CL does search anything with, not Legend Arms, the Royal Knights trait, which from Master Disciple does have as an option card, ironically enough. So to go there, he's going to drop down, get the Gankumon. He did hit into security and hit a gate, unfortunately, but the gates are at least off. He needs 3 more before he can activate those gates. Cool, he didn't swing with his Huckmon, which is really good, trying to keep that thing protected. That D-Reaper unfortunately can't attack unsuspended Digimon, so he's going to go with that first so he can start playing his stuff for free. Does the Searcher, swings it under, and starts, obviously, probably going to start here playing like Jerry's and stuff. Yep, there it is. Going for a search, and hits it. It's just, they always hit it. I don't think even Kanan I've seen miss once. I'm sure he's missed once or twice, but like, it feels like he never misses. Alright, cool. So Gate is still not active because he only has 5. He needs that 1 Searcher. So next turn, Aaron is completely locked out. So he needs to do something now, otherwise he's not going to make it. So Duncan's going to swing in at the gate, and he's going to just pass through that security easily. Duncan's going to drop another Searcher to get another draw going. So we're going to hatch here, Digivolve into a Huck, Digivolve into a Bow Huck, swing with the Mirror, get the X Antibody, gain a memory from it, unfortunate. Swing with the Systemons, looking for some good chip damage. Got him down to 2, but if he can't do anything else, yeah, there it is. So plays the Solomon, and unfortunately doesn't really matter too much because now Duncan can just attach. That's 6, so both gates are online. That's minus 4k, minus 4 security checks to all of Aaron's Digimon, so it doesn't even matter what he gets out now. Unless he can clear those gates, nothing's gonna happen. Oh, getting a search off, and now we're at 7. We're already there for Reaper play. But do we have it? That is the question. I think just showing Aaron how some of the cards work. I think he showed him the search card there. We're going to go swing into the Solomon, clearing it, playing one of those. Oh, we did have the Reaper. Oh no, they did. Oh, Duncan doesn't know. Oh, okay, for all of those that don't know, D-Reaper got an errata. So its original text said reduced play cost to 0, but it was changed to set. So he really didn't need to worry about the Solomon. But hey, that's what it is. And with that, that wraps up another Locals. So yeah, I guess tomorrow you will be seeing my Magna X deck profile, despite how unfairly earned that was. I will pilot again this weekend just to see if I can clutch out a victory in the right way. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any comments, aside from Robbie, you forgot how effects work, I understand, I'm sorry. But feel free to leave them below. And I will see you all in the next one.